Another interesting piece of news you were mentioning is about the change in appraisals. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that might be really interesting for realtors to hear about.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are huge appraisal changes coming nationwide. So this is like
Mm.
across the board, and from a very high level perspective, because it's super technical. And as someone who's not an appraiser, I don't know if you want me getting into the nitty gritty, but essentially what's happening is they are redoing their forms. Let's say,
Mm.
okay, so.
We know all about that.
Sure do. So what's happening is the forms are actually the ones that they are currently using are set up for typewriters. So what they're doing is they're bringing everything into 2026, and it's going to be cloud-based reporting. And so appraiser is going to go in, and there's no longer going to be separate. Like there's not going to be a multifamily form or a condo form, or there's all going to be drop downs. Right. So the appraiser is going to go through and they're going to select what they're doing. And then the information will kind of drop down from there. It's a huge change because it's actually Michelle Jakalski Bradley, who is one of the biggest appraisers around. And she does a lot of work with the Pennsylvania Association and certainly the National Association. And she was just telling me about this. I just actually had her on my podcast talking about these changes. And what she was telling me is that this is the largest and the biggest appraisal change in modern history.
Wow.
So updating these forms. And what she was focusing on was saying, okay, what's changing? The methodology isn't changing. How they think about value and how they assess and all of that, that's not changing, but it's the process. And why it's such a big deal is because even though right now they don't have to switch over to this new process until November of 2026 is when this all kind of kicks off. But and I should say this is for residential property, single family detached or 1 to 4 units. So this isn't affecting commercial. This isn't affecting anything else aside from residential, and residential loans sold on the secondary mortgage market, right? So, and that's a majority of if someone's buying a house that's on the MLS and they're getting a loan, it's affecting this. It does not affect things like independent appraisals for estates or divorces or things like that. This is just it's being driven by Freddie and Fannie. So, so definitely something to note. But what she was saying was so important to remember is the average age of an appraiser is in their 60s. And some of them have been in the business for 40 years. And you have new technology coming in. And, so she thinks that there is going to be, along with, I think what she had quoted was Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac saying that there could be potentially a 20% decrease in appraisers, physically, doing this particular work. So some might be retiring early. Some might just not be doing that. So you're going to have potentially less appraisers in the marketplace to do an appraisal. And there's going to be a learning curve, right? And so again, 30,000 foot view of what's going on, supply and demand, right? So you're going to have less appraisers, but if we're going into, let's say, spring market right now, maybe some of these appraisers are going to be going into this new process. Maybe some will wait until November. But you're going to have fewer appraisers available and potentially more homes on the market. This could change the way that we practice. Maybe our mortgage commitment dates are going to have to be longer. Maybe we're adding in a week or two before, you're closing, right? So this is it's a huge change. And it's going to affect almost every aspect of the transaction, really, when you think about it, if you're getting a loan, right? So big change coming through.
What would you recommend realtor practitioners do then? Is it having those conversations upfront?
Absolutely. The best thing, and we touched on this in the episode, the best thing that we as practitioners can do is in that initial consult, when you're meeting with either a buyer or a seller, to let them know there are appraisal changes happening, and not to even dig deeper into the weeds, but additional changes are going to be things like the seller needs to let the appraiser know, or whether it's on the disclosure, et cetera, when they estimated something was done, like from a renovation perspective. And so let's say it was a partial renovation when when was that partially renovated? And if they don't have the answer to that, the appraiser is going to have to make that estimation. And so I'm sure that there's, through the appraisal process in general, there are estimations that, educated estimations that the appraiser makes if information is not being provided. But now I believe it's mandated where that, like, if something is left blank or they can't, or if a seller can't tell somebody when something was done, it now falls to the appraiser to make an educated estimation of what they think has been done to the property at what point. And so I think that there's, and if you listen to the podcast or listen to Michelle Chikowski,
tune in on this.
Definitely. Or just if you have an opportunity to talk to her, I know she's speaking at PAR and she's on the circuit right now, letting everybody know about what's happening. Best thing that you can do as a practitioner is get in front of this with your clients. Tell your sellers, hey, this is what's going on. It could delay the process, make it longer. Same thing with buyers. Hey, we're going to have an appraiser go out there, and if they're not using the process and haven't been familiarized with the new form and all the online form and everything, could take longer. Learning a new tool, a new technology, there's always a learning curve. So getting in front of it as best you can with them is the biggest piece and best piece of advice I would give someone. Otherwise, who knows how long it's going to take. And, and the thing that I thought was very interesting in speaking with Michelle, the appraisers aren't the bad guys, right? Like a lot of the time, it's so easy to pass the buck and say, oh, the appraiser messed up the deal or, whatever. And that's not necessarily the case, right? Like they're assigning value as we're, doing price, right? So it comes into, having a conversation with an appraiser for an hour and kind of going through everything was eye-opening for me, right? And Michelle is fabulous. I've known her for a few years now, going through, Harrisburg and PAR and all of that. So she's a wealth of knowledge and information, and I would definitely recommend checking her out. But huge changes coming that we can get in front of in our initial consults.
Simply with a conversation and just having that open communication. And it's a good alert for consumers as well to start, tracking some of those notes in your home repairs so that you can make sure that your value is conveyed, and everybody to have a little bit more patience with the process because things are changing and everybody needs to learn, and that's the best way to do a good job.
Yeah. And change is inevitable. We can't fight it. And this will help. And she said that they've been working on this for the last 8 years. They've been talking about this change coming for the last 8 years, and it's finally here. And the idea is to make it a smoother transaction. But there's going to be hiccups along the road, just like with any changes. We've experienced our own changes on the real estate side of it, on the real estate practitioner side of it. August of 24, we've experienced changes. And so those were, there's always going to be bumps in the road until people the dust settles and people figure out how to navigate through it. It's going to be the same thing from an appraisal side. Only we have a longer lead time knowing that it's coming, and we have the ability to educate the consumers and not just worry about the contract, but go beyond the contract and have those conversations about transparency, right?
And something like this is a great example too of how important those human conversations are. This can't be easily looked up in an app or a chat bot where something is black and white, right? And we're seeing so much of that. And sure, AI can be a helpful tool in a lot of these transactions along the way, but it cannot replace, for instance, this exact conversation or deeper knowledge of how that all comes together.
It's so true. And it's the hot button conversation that we're all talking about right now, right? Because there are, and I listen to a bunch of real estate podcasts, and I listen to, a bunch of just general, like I like to have fun with my podcast, but I do kind of get a little technical too. And so you listen to some of these like AI podcasts, and it's very or like where AI is going, technology. And it's really interesting because there are two schools of thought, right? First one, especially in sales, is the sky is falling. And it's like, AI is going to replace everybody and blah, 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 and all of this stuff. And we're going to be living with robots. And like, we might be living with robots, right? I think like Tesla has like robot people that come out.
Yeah,
But
I
anyways.
saw somebody unloading a dishwasher or something. I'm like, okay,
Oh, great. Send them my way.
yeah, that's fine with me. Or
Right.
another realtor did one just a parody on this AI taking my job, and she's in the house picking up leaves, cleaning the toilets. Where are you? Come take my job.
That's so
It's
funny.
funny. I mean,
It's true.
those are the aspects we'll be fine with.
100% take it,
Yeah.
and there are aspects of my job I would love for them to take, right?
Yeah.
I think that there's that school of thought. The sky is falling, we're going to become irrelevant, etc. And then there's the second school of thought, which I tend to think is reality. And the reality is you can't replace experience. You can't replace the human interaction. Prime example of this, Michelle, I have been negotiating, I'm representing buyers. And we have a property, and I don't want to get too specific, but property that needs a lot of work. And, my clients went on ChatGPT and they said, okay, here's all of the stuff that needs to be done. And we're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Give me a rundown on cost, right? Great. Pops out a number and, they look at that number and it scares them, right? And then what did they do? They called me and they said, hey, we're really afraid of this number. What is your advice? What do you think? Is this place, a money pit, or is it, ChatGPT gave them an answer. I gave them the same number, not knowing that they were going to put it into ChatGPT. I was like, you probably got about X amount of work here. And so we were, I think, arbitrarily $5,000 off, right?
Isn't that interesting?
But so that part, if you want to run numbers through there, and great, love that, because it's going to pool information. A lot of AI is very helpful using in your everyday transaction, like automating your systems and processes. Fabulous, do it all day. Your CRMs, great, but it's never going to replace. They picked up the phone and they said, we just saw a $50,000 estimate.
Let's talk through this. And they're not going to chat with ChatGPT about how they feel. It won't replace gut feeling, and it won't replace us having a conversation, whether we're making someone feel better about a number, making them feel worse about a number, whatever. It won't replace the honesty of the experience. ChatGPT doesn't have a real estate license. Right.
We have real estate licenses.
And they haven't experienced other properties that may be similar.
Exactly.
Or again, you mentioned and remind everyone that we're in Pittsburgh, which has an older infrastructure, older properties. A lot of the properties we've dealt with are from the early 1900s, 1800s. They have totally different systems. And there isn't one right way to do something.
Exactly.
There might be 5 right ways to do it. And talking that out, exercising the discernment of what do we need to do right now versus what can we do later, what's an emergency,
right? Capital expenditure versus deferred maintenance,
all a conversation. And I've been in the business professionally for 19 years now, but earlier growing up with my family, but every transaction has been different. Sure, there's similarities, but there's never 2 transactions that are exactly the same.
Never.
So it takes that thoughtfulness with the process.
100%. And I think the other thing when you're on one side of the transaction, so for example, I'm representing the buyers in the example that I had just provided, and they entered everything in as a buyer into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is not going to understand, one, the relationship that I have with the listing agent, right? Has it been tumultuous? Has it been easy? Do I know them personally? Am I able to pick up the phone and talk it through, right? They're not going to know that. The relationship side of it, the relationship building side, they're not going to know. And they're not going to, ChatGPT is not going to be able to, or any AI is not going to be able to take into consideration what we know about the sellers or how the sellers might receive something. So there's so many,
or the house, or the city, or the weather, or all those other variables that are swirling around and ever changing.
Exactly. So I think it will be a cold day in hell before I let AI take my job, unless they want to unload my dishwasher.
Yeah. And cleaning is fine.
Cleaning, absolutely. Feeding my cats, maybe, but fixing
a spreadsheet.
Absolutely.
That stuff. Great.
Absolutely. Proofreading something for me, great. But I will. And again, I think that comes down to the resiliency of not just our city, but of our industry. And I think people, we as a collective have made a great profession out of a little piece of paper that's a real estate license, right? And it's the most important transaction that most people will have, whether it's their home or a business, or investment. This is the largest transaction that most people will do. I don't think someone is going to let anybody, any robot, handle that, or an AI system, something, but yeah, to me, maybe in 100 years, but I just don't see it happening. I think there's always going to be need for an ethical, professional, human person that will be able to guide someone effectively and efficiently through the process.
And have that local knowledge.
The local knowledge is key.
Lived in the city, that has seen it grow and evolve, and knows, again, sort of the ins and the outs of what's going on, what's coming down the pike in the industry, in the city, and things like that.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it replace. And there was talks about it for appraisals as well. Not going to happen. It's just, so the two schools of thought, sky's falling, we're going away.
We'll meet in the middle.
We'll meet
like
in the
anything
middle.
else.
Yeah.
I think nothing is inherently all bad or all good.
Yep.
Let's see where we can use it.
Yep.
And again, remind ourselves of the ethical practice of that conversation, of sharing the knowledge the best way we know how, particular to that situation. Every
Absolutely.
situation is so different.
Yep. Yeah, every transaction is a thumbprint. Every person is different, buyer,
Yes.
seller, investor. There's so many facets of life that a transaction touches, down to property inspections or building inspectors or permitting or whatever, So I think we're here to stay, and far be it from me. Yeah, me too. Far be it from me to say that we're going away. No, we'll be here for a long, long, long time.
Great. Good to hear. Good news.
Yeah.
We got another few years left here.
Yeah, well, we might be retiring to that flower farm soon.
Yes. Every time we get stressed, we have this joke. It's not so much a joke anymore.
No, I'm looking at land.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice land outside of Pittsburgh.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned on that. We might
Part
be.
2.
Yeah. The next episode might be from Michelle's flower farm, and I will have moved in.
Yes.
Oh man.
I thought maybe we could talk about community, and maybe I'll talk about the Women's Center and our involvement at RAMP, and
Absolutely.
a little bit about that. Do you have time for that? It's 12:45.
Yeah.
And then we'll finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe
I'll let you
make its own segment.
Yeah.
That was really good. That's really a helpful tidbit. I think that can be its own episode, even, or its own segment.
Oh, for
however
sure.
I do it.
No, I think that there's a lot that goes into that process. And like she was on she spent 30 minutes going into it.
I didn't watch it yet, but
Yeah.
I saw that you
Yeah.
posted that.
It's deep and it's heavy. And
So, like, some people are saying, like, oh, appraisers won't even be needed anymore. And I'm like,
no.
I don't think.
Well, she
I
told
can
me-
understand changes, but
She told me appraisers weren't even involved in the process of redesigning everything.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So she was like, people are pissed. They're feeling forced out of the business because they're feeling like they're going into a forced retirement. They weren't even part of the conversation. So she was like, it's going to be an interesting changeover. And what I didn't mention here is the cost of appraisals are going to go up. I
Sure.
asked her that flat out, and she
Sure.
wouldn't. So I was like, she won't say it, but I will. It's going to go up, right?
Well,
Because
especially if they're in short demand. Because there's
economics.
just as many clients, if not more, like you're
Mhm.
saying, with the time of the
Mhm.
spring market and all that.
Mhm.
This is off the record.
This is off the record, of course. I said it on my podcast. I was like, she was like, well, it's economics. And I was like, you're absolutely right. And she was like, I'm not going to talk price. And then I literally looked at the camera and I was like, she won't say it, but I will expect the prices to go up.
Sure.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Right? So,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's amazing there. Because they have like their own association or
Yeah, Appraisal Institute.
institute. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know her personally, but I know I see her a lot at
Yeah.
PAR, and that's sort of where I've run into
She's
her.
very spirited and she's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
that's great.
Yeah.
You need somebody like that.
Well, her resume, when you watch the podcast, I go through her resume and it's ridiculous. Like
Wow.
I literally halfway through, I was like, are you serious? And then I keep reading. It's so long. She was the longest serving board member or something on the national appraisal something. I mean, like it's
Oh, wow.
insane.
Yeah.
It's
She
insane.
cares very much.
She does.
Yeah.
She's been in it for 40 years and
That's important.
yeah. So, but yeah, definitely worth a watch for sure. All right. We're going to go into women's shelter.
Community.
Community.
I'll say
Women's,
community
okay.
and then.
Yeah. Side is it? Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
I hope I haven't been going like this the whole time.
I hope you haven't been going like that either. Sorry. You look great. You look great.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you look good.
Okay. I need to get my hair fixed. I mean, like outside of here. Okay. All right. Okay. So earlier we were talking about community service and all of the involvement that our Realtors Association has in the community. One of the very near and dear to my heart organizations that stand out to me is the Women's Center and Shelter of Greater Pittsburgh. We've done a lot of great work with them. From a professional standpoint, our Realtors Association takes great pride in partnering with Pittsburgh community organizations that support housing-related needs. We do a lot of work with Veterans Place as well. We actually have a golf outing coming up this year supporting Veterans Place. All proceeds will go to support their programming, which is incredible and so much needed. And that is on August 4th. Stay tuned. Message us for more details or to collaborate as a sponsor. It's a great day. It's a great day of networking with your
it's so much fun.
peers and friends and affiliates. And
I'm laughing because when we go to this golf outing, Michelle and I drive around in a golf cart and
I drive us
that's
around in the golf cart.
She doesn't want me driving.
Yeah.
We have fun.
We have fun.
We go and we make sure that everyone's having a good time and we take photos of everyone and all of that. But yeah, no, it's a great time and come on down.
Yeah, very great. We'll have some auction items, sort of your traditional golf outing day, a luncheon, and again, supporting an incredible cause in Veterans Place. And what Veterans Place does for our veterans, the Women's Center and Shelter does for victims of domestic violence and intimate partner violence as well. Mostly the victims are women, but everyone can be affected, and they do such an incredible job at making such an impact in our Pittsburgh region, and yet also handling this type of dynamic with such grace and the, delicacy that it deserves. So from a professional standpoint, I am so passionate that and excited that so many of our realtor volunteers have gotten involved to show up and come to the shelter. We do what's called children's parties. It's an evening where we bring sweet treats and crafts or whatever the project is that day. Sometimes it's, spring themed or fall themed. And it's a time where the children that are in the shelter, which is a transitional moment in their life where they have left a terrible situation and they don't know what their next steps are. The Women's Center and Shelter has, I believe, 55 beds where this transitional housing can take place. And while leaving that situation is often the most dangerous part, it is really only the first step to rebuilding your life. There are so many other aspects that go into that. Where am I going to live next? What will my children do? What about my pets? Can I bring my pets with me? The answer is yes. They have a facility area for pets, or If it needs rehomed or adopted, they can help you with that. They have legal counsel, they have trauma counseling, advocacy, meal service, and so much more. Even around the holidays, they have a gift shop. We've wrapped presents. Some of our team has come and really trying our best doing all of the different things it takes to get someone back on their feet after something like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, having seen the work originally with Veterans Place, I was much more familiar with their programming and what they have, what they do. I over the last couple of years have been relatively more new to the Women's Center and Shelter, and you kind of brought me, to some events and seen all of the incredible work. And I will tell you what, it is eye-opening because they do good work, right? And we know that it's housing related, and we know that there's so much synergy between our associations. So we understand why we partner, and why we work well together. But until you're there, until you're at these events, I'm telling you what, like, it's eye-opening and it's super emotional. I've gotten emotional there several times, and it's heavy stuff and it's real stuff. And then it's one thing to see, a partnership on paper or to see donation dollars in a check going somewhere. It's another thing to go and physically to an event or to something where victims speak, and survivors speak, and it hits home in such a way that I'm just like, I get emotional. I cry at these events, and
you've been a great supporter.
It's just unbelievable what you and the team do over there, and Nicole and her team. I mean, it's just incredible, because you don't realize it. I've been very fortunate to not have experienced that in my life in any capacity. So to go in there completely blind to it, and then it's like, oh my gosh, this is so, and it's such important work, So kudos to you and to the team for what you do, because you're not just providing shelter, you're providing the next chapter of someone's life and giving someone their life back, which is like insane.
That there is life on the other side of that.
Yep.
And seeing the work. And we've been so fortunate, to be able to have such a great turnout of, again, realtor volunteers, friends and family. My family has come, your family supports everything you do as well. And that is how we are able to make our reach expand how it has. This work is a testament to the power of collaboration.
Absolutely.
And what everybody's little efforts or big efforts can do overall. The Women's Center gives someone the tools to transform themselves from a victim into a survivor. And someone that went through a situation of domestic violence myself, I know that it takes a community of support. And that's why, in addition to my professional side, why my heart is so dedicated to helping them. Because if you don't have that community of support, you might not have hope that there, are these tools and resources that can uplift someone who needs it most. And there is you can't always see it. That is one of the biggest things we combat is you can't pick it up. It knows no limits, age, demographic, and anyone can be affected. So we are working hard not only to support those going through it, but to raise the awareness in the workplace, in the home, in social life as to what that really looks like. And again, they do a great job at handling this highly sensitive matter with such a great amount of impact. So I'm very proud to be a part of it and for all of our partnerships, and grateful for the support we've had all together to be able to make an impact.
Absolutely. They're a fabulous organization, and they're only just going to keep getting better, with more programs and more opportunities. I definitely am going to have to get out to one of those kids parties. That sounds so fun.
It really is fun. It really is fun.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a place where sort of a kid can just be a kid in amidst all of that transition and turmoil, really, and not knowing what's next, and sort of gives also the parent a break too sometimes for a breather. And, it really also brings you down from whatever you were racing around with that day
Yep.
to say, let me just put my phone away, sit with this child who needs a hug or wants to create. I always love bringing crafts because I'm like arty and I love doing that. And it's like this little whatever figure they made, it's something they can take with them, that they created something beautiful and meaningful in the middle of all of that. I think really sounds small, but it makes a big difference for your healing and for finding that spark to take the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos to you guys.
So
amazing.
We'll be seeing everyone at their May event at Nova Place. So
that was a fabulous event last year.
Yes, I'll be there this year, and if
I will be
more
too.
details, let us know, and we'll say hi to you while we're there.
Absolutely, love it.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have to coordinate our outfits. Yes, I need something purple. My dad already has a purple suit.
I'm not surprised.
So, he ordered it special this year after last year's.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to, well, there's no outdressing your father, but I'll have to step up my game for sure. Purple
That'll be fun.
Oh,
That'll be fun. Yeah, we'll see if I have to separate you two.
You always do. Yeah. I know whenever we're at an event together, if I am gone and your dad is gone, you know that we're at the food table, obviously the food station, and then chatting about design or chairs or something,
Something,
that man is an onion.
Be a great time. Yes, you dubbed him Realtor Dad.
I did.
That was great. Really meaningful to him.
Well, he's been a big part of all of our lives now for the last few years.
Yeah,
so he's
that
definitely
was fun.
Realtor Dad.
I had fun giving him the 2025 President's Award, and you helped me pull off the surprise. And it's sort of makes you take pause and realize, what is all of this for? And that's what it's for. It's for your family. It's for the time together, which is the best gift, and why we run around like crazy during the day. Serving our work.
It's true. And I think that especially I think it was an even more special moment was you had no idea that you were going to be the Realtor of the Year 2025. It was a unanimous vote that you were going to be Realtor of the Year. And the fact that she was presenting her father with the President's Award, and then 5 seconds later, you were getting this award. It was just so, for us, it was just like, this makes sense. The Sanko family, it just makes sense. And we couldn't be more proud of you and your dad for everything he's been part of and part of your journey in such a very profound way. And then in turn has been part of our journey in such a profound way. Like when, we all love when Michelle shows up, but we're like, where's your dad? Or even at dinner, he's just automatically assumed that he's coming to dinner, and and we ask where he is, and he's, we love your mom too, and it's like, he's been such a big part of our lives. So it was a no-brainer,
That's awesome. I think was going through to do the photo montage, there might have been just as many selfies of you and him as me and him.
You know what?
That's its own montage on its own. I said I'm saving this. Yes, we'll have to bring him in.
I do love your father. He is the sweetest, kindest man ever. And we just get along. Yeah. You
just get it.
And we crack up.
You just get it. And I've been very blessed that both of them have just been all in with whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I feel like I could say anything and they'd just be, okay, well, what can we do? We'll be there to help. We'll meet you there. What can we make? You did a good job.
Oh yeah. No, your parents always show up. They are at everything, absolutely everything. And I think that's so important to feel supported in that capacity. And I think it's certainly helped shape you and how you handle a lot of your life, every part of your life,
everything. Yeah. I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
Very blessed. And yes, Realtor of the Year, I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. I'm still sinking in the handing over the gavel to Dale, who's now in his president role, doing a lovely job. Best wishes. He's doing a great job.
He is, yeah. He's going to be wonderful.
Just a great leader and educator himself. But to be honored with the Realtor of the Year really does mean a lot to me because it's honored by my peers.
Mm-hmm.
It does not reflect necessarily number of sales or volume of sales, which certainly has been important over the years to make a living.
Sure.
But those things come and go. Those
Mm-hmm.
things are, like I said, important, but what it's all about is the people and doing a good job at whatever price point or however many you serviced that month. And so I think that's why I was incredibly honored and surprised. And it was an emotional day because like I said, I was focused on giving the award to my dad and surprising him, and also honoring Nicole Molinaro of the Women's Center and Shelter for her community service award and work in our industry. And she's very like-minded as well. She realizes too that it takes such a team to get any of these efforts off the ground, like our association, like community service and making change in our legislation. It's a team effort.
It takes a village for sure. And I think when you take a step back from everything and you bring up such a great point, because I feel like people get so in the weeds about numbers, sales numbers and sales volume and all of that. And that's great because we have to eat, right? Like, and there's nothing wrong with chasing the leaderboard and wanting to be the top salesperson, and buyers, sellers, whatever. That's never been what I've focused on, especially too when you work, at least within our MLS. Commercial is reported differently. Not all 90% of what you're going to find on the commercial market isn't on the MLS. It's elsewhere. So like I gave up that idea of chasing a leaderboard. It's never really been, I'm a competitive person, but not in that sense.
I think I'm more competitive like with myself.
Yeah.
I always want to do better.
Exactly.
But I also want somebody else to do well alongside of me, because that makes us all look good.
We all rise. Yeah, totally. So I gave up on that that idea a long time ago. And I can't remember where I heard this from, but someone once said it to me and it stuck with me. And it kind of like encapsulates what we're doing from an association perspective, or just being part of the industry, not just in the industry. It was about making a difference, not a dollar. And yes, you have to make a dollar to survive and live. But like the concept of making a difference, putting yourself second to your client's needs or to the transaction or whatever the case is, that kind of stuck with me, because as someone who's been in the industry now for quite some time, what I take with me is not so much, I never remember, I sold that for $1.5 million. It's like, I'm that client's, now I'm their go-to. I'm part of their family, and their next transaction will be with me. Whether I was the top salesperson that month or realtor of the year or whatever, to me, it's about being present in that person's life. And what I think is really important is an award like Realtor of the Year, because it's not numbers, it's impact. And being able to present that to you, having watched you grow, was, I think, one of my favorite parts of my career, being able to kind of pass that. And
you won it the last year. That was
Sorry, I was speaking as if people knew. Yes, so I was last year, 2025's recipient, and I get the pleasure of presenting the follow. I guess that was 2024, so you were 2025. I get the pleasure of presenting that award, and it meant so much to me to do that, because you too are a person who wants to make a difference, not just a dollar. And so being able to kind of pass that was like huge. And I cried. I mean, you saw, I was like literally giving a speech about you, and I cried.
I was actually filming you thinking, wow, that's awesome. And I was trying to think about who it was. And you gave me some load of crap before when I asked you what it was, trying to get out of it. Oh, it's so-and-so and they're not here and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know who it is.
Okay. So I'm like, I better film you. And it wasn't until you said my name that I realized. And
so funny.
It was definitely a meaningful moment.
I couldn't look at you. And that was the problem, because I knew if I looked at you, I would give it away, because I would just start crying. So, but it was, I think, so important that when you had just talked about like sales versus, others, it's like, it's about impact. And you do that very well. And you're going to continue to do that very well. And the whole thought process behind what you're doing here as well, I think is going to help continue to make a difference and not a dollar.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, my year as president serving 2025, and now I've shifted into some other roles, still committee chair and things like that. But my mission to continue to share this motto of beyond the contract lives on very strongly. And it's how I've always lived and worked, not just thinking about the dollar or that one sale, is the, again, overall impact in our community, how we can show up to participate in our community's growth and be there for our client as a partner in their business decisions, whether that is their home or their son's home or their new space for their business. It's about being a partner and that trusted advisor,
absolutely,
lifelong. And so that is, again, my spirit to share that continues. And there are so many different aspects of involvement that someone can take up. So
absolutely,
call us if you want some advice.
Absolutely.
Well, we always need the help. And again, your voice is so important in our industry. If you want to be someone that is has a long-standing career and one that is meaningful.
Yep. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. Great. Should we do like maybe one outro, like just a thank you for coming, and maybe I'll do one more of like where we can contact you, and
sure,
where you can contact me.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Yep. Just in case, I know we did it at that other segment, but in case
it never hurts to have more
together,
yeah,
and then we'll go. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, Dominic. We really appreciated you and all your insight and all the different things you're involved in. It's so exciting to be your friend and be alongside of you for this.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be part of your journey here with this as well. Been so blessed to get to know you over the last few years with our work at the association, and then just our work as friends, and getting to know each other's families and all of that. You have been such an inspiration to me. So to be here, to be asked to be on your show is just so wonderful, and I'm so honored. So thank you.
Thank you. Likewise, I always say to you and David and a few other of the peers that we work with, I couldn't have done it without you guys. I mean, everyone around us, it's a team, and
we had a great team.
Yeah,
we
were lucky to be friends alongside of the work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was, the friendship came from that.
Yes.
And that's the thing that's going to forever bind us,
Yes. Well, we'll be tuning into your new podcast, Hot Market.
Yes, Hot Market Cold Brew.
And we'll find you on YouTube and all over social media.
Yep. You can find the podcast on YouTube at Hot Market Cold Brew. And then I'm all over socials, like Michelle said, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of them are Dominic Janitis. So, easy to remember or hard to say. I don't know.
We'll get the hang of it.
Yeah.
You only have to do it once, and then you're hooked.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and follow our show on YouTube and Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at Michelle Senko is where you can find all of our work, from the podcast to our work at the association to community service, up-to-date real estate news, community happenings, and so much more.
I'm so excited. I'll be tuning in.
Yes, thank you.